Before we start, I would like to dedicate this video to my first ever Patreon patron, Red Spirit Mask. Thank you so much. Prequels can be fun to write. I mean, who doesn't like to explore the origin story of an important or even obscure part of their world and put it out there into the world? They can also be dangerous though. To illustrate, though The Legend of Korra is a sequel series to Avatar The Last Airbender, it does have 2 episodes in Book 2 that focus on the origins of both the Avatar and the bending arts themselves. Back when these episodes aired, the internet was ablaze with criticism, saying that this was a retcon of how people gained the ability to bend. Personally, I don't mind this because, for one, the stories of how the people of Avatar learned to bend always felt like mythology to me.
The legends say the moon was the first waterbender. Our ancestors saw how it pushed and pulled the tides and learned how to do it themselves.
And then there's the idea that though they had the ability to bend, they could still have learnt from the original benders, honing their bending abilities. For me though, a more unforgivable example is in the Kyoshi novels. Avatar The Last Airbender confirms that most bloodbending is only available under the full moon. In The Shadow of Kyoshi by F.C.E. though, we see a waterbender healer teach Kyoshi how to use the waterbender's ability to control the temperature of water and apply it to the human body. Kyoshi even learns to freeze the water in a person's body this way, and very easily I might add. To me, this goes against the whole idea of bloodbending, controlling the water in a person's body, being only possible during the full moon for most waterbenders. There is no explanation for this in the text, and it just feels contrived to me. So you get where I'm going, right? Prequels are dangerous because there's a good chance that the audience has already come up with their own headcanon, their own explanation for how things work in your story. Whether they are right or wrong in the sense that it aligns or doesn't align with your original intent as the author, it doesn't really matter to the audience. The story has already left your mind and entered theirs, and so it has become as much theirs as yours in a sense. And if details of the prequel don't make sense to them, it will negatively impact their consumption of your story. My biggest example is from the Fox X-Men films. I grew up with X-Men the Animated Series and X-Men Evolution. Watching Mystique's transformations never made sense to me. I thought she should not have been able to morph her clothes, considering they weren't part of her. But at the same time, I also knew that it would have been scandalous to have her be, well, naked in these animated shows for children. So when the Fox X-Men film finally showed a Mystique that didn't wear clothes, I figured it was simply that. The writers deciding that Raven could not morph her clothes. This Mystique is a warrior who prioritizes the practicality of being able to morph at any time over modesty. And then X-Men First Class happened and we see Mystique can morph clothes. This is bad enough. But then Eric gives this little speech.
Could you pass me my robe?
You don't have to hide. Have you ever looked at a tiger and thought you ought to cover it up? You're an exquisite creature, Raven. All your life, the world has tried to tame you. It's time for you to be free.
This, it seems, is how the film explains Raven deciding not to wear clothes anymore. And to me, it makes no sense. If she can morph the clothes she is wearing, then why is she not wearing clothes? Eric isn't walking around naked, despite what he said. If there's no real practical reason for Raven not to wear clothes, then it just comes across as a decision the writers made for the male gaze. And to me, that takes away Raven's power and agency, rather than how I read it, as a woman warrior being constantly ready to use her powers in a war for her own rights. Not to mention, it just makes me wonder why a very young Raven is walking around without clothes early in the film. That to me is just gross. It makes me question the writing choices, not think about what it meant for the character herself. So I don't really have a solution to this dilemma except to make sure you understand your story and how it could have been understood. Prequels are dangerous. This is especially true when the people who write the prequel are not the same ones who wrote the story that takes place later in the timeline of the world we're consuming. I'm not saying we shouldn't write prequels, but definitely be ready for the possibility of your audience blasting your story to pieces because it doesn't fit with what they have understood. But hey, maybe that's a good thing. In the age of the internet, even a negative critique can be good free advertising for us writers. Anyway, if you have a solution or thoughts, let me know in the comments. In the meantime, let's learn, let's grow, let's write. I grew up with X-Men the anime.